Summary of Tell Me 3 Things by Julie Buxbaum. 16-year-old Jessie's mom died 733 days ago, and it's been about a month since her dad moved her from Chicago to California to live with his new wife Jennifer. A week after starting her new school, Jessie gets an email from a boy who calls himself Somebody Nobody, SN, and says he can help her find her way around Wood Valley. Jessie says no. During her first day, she thinks about who he is. She must have looked desperate because she felt bad about telling them she worked all summer. The first person to talk to Jessie was a blonde girl called Jem. "What are you looking at?" she asked. A week later, in English class, Ethan asks Jessie to work with him on a project about the wasteland. He then tells her he's going to do the project by himself and sign it with her name. Jessie texts Scarlett, her best friend from Chicago, because she is sad. Scarlett tells Jessie that she should talk to SN. SN is glad to help and tells Jessie to become friends with Dri Sanchez. Also, he says that everyone is rich. Jessie gets mad and decides she can't let Ethan work on their wasteland project by himself. Rachel calls for a family dinner, which makes Jessie remember when she first got to California. She thought Rachel's house was lovely, but Mom isn't there and it's very big and white. Also, Jessie is sleeping in a guest room, which makes her feel like she doesn't belong there. Dad tells everyone at dinner that he got a job at a local store. My daughter Rachel's son, Theo, is furious because he finds this job embarrassing. Theo smokes a joint and tells Jessie that he smokes because his dad died of lung cancer even though he ran 12 miles a day. He also says that last year a kid died of an abuse of heroin. That night, Jessie sneaks downstairs for tea and sees Rachel and her dad looking through a picture book on the couch. Jessie thinks that everything is broken. Jessie gets ready to deal with Jem's bullying at school. She also talks to Dri and approaches Ethan about their English project. He agrees to do the job with you. SN and Jessie sent each other messages that night. Even though he's at a party, he says it doesn't bother him like talking to Jessie does. When Jessie gets a job at Book Out Below, a small bookstore run by the mother of Wood Valley senior Liam, things start to look up. Liam feels bad about hitting Jessie in the head with his guitar, so Jessie gets the job. At the same time, Jessie texts Scarlett and finds out that Adam Kravitz asked her to come to homecoming. He was the first person Jessie kissed, but she lets Scarlett have it. The next day, Jessie has lunch with Dri and her friend Agnes. When Liam shows up to set up work with Jessie, Dri tells him she's crazy about him. She tells Jessie that she will text her if Liam says something cute. Liam talks about his band during Jessie's workout. Dri tweets to Jessie that Liam is in a band in town called Oville, which has a lot of trouble. Liam asks Jessie to a party at Jem's house with a band, but Dri says they have to stay home. When Jessie meets Ethan at work on the wasteland, she can't hide the fact that she really likes him. As they walk, they talk about the wasteland. Ethan puts on his sunglasses and seems even harder to reach. He says that he knows most of the song by heart because he reads it to himself when he can't sleep. After that, Jessie and SN start a game where they each have to share 3 things. The third thing SN has is that he likes Jessie. Jessie agrees, but she also has a strange feeling SN could be anyone. SN tells Jessie that his sister died a year ago to gain her trust. He says he keeps track of the hours, days, and minutes that have passed since she died. Liam texts Jessie about work at about the same time that Ethan texts her about the wasteland and Scarlett texts her a picture of her homecoming dress. Jessie hangs out with Dri and Agnes on Friday nights. They talk about the first time Agnes had sex. She had sex at theater camp just to get it over with, but her partner remembered about halfway through that his religion didn't allow sex before marriage. When Agnes asks if the experience is important, Jessie says it is. They find out about SN from Jessie. When Jessie gets home, she and Theo stand outside of their parents' room and watch them fight. Jessie and Theo run away when Rachel screams for Dad to leave and never come back. The kids are interested in whether or not their parents will get a divorce. But Jessie decides she doesn't want that to happen because she'd have to start over. She is scared that she and her dad will have to leave. The next afternoon, Scarlett texts Adam while Jessie is at work to ask if she should have sex with him after return. It shocks Jessie. When they get back to Rachel's house, Jessie joins her dad on the deck, but she doesn't ask about the fight. Dad almost tears up as he says that his friendship with Mom has never been hard. Jessie doesn't understand what's going on. SN tells everyone the next morning that his mom abuses prescription drugs. After school, Jessie and Ethan get together and work on their project at Starbucks. There, Jessie finds out that Ethan is also in Oville. When Ethan says he doesn't like Liam, it confuses her. That night, Theo and Jessie drink wine together, and Theo tells Jessie that their parents are stupid because they thought they could just get married again. For the party, Jessie goes to Jem's house with Dri and Agnes. Jessie is ignored by Ethan, but Liam greets her while drunk. Dri says something vague about a kid named Xander dying and how the band was almost broken up right before the music starts. After the first set, Liam comes back to talk to Jem and Jessie. Jem tries to get him to leave. When Jessie gets a text from SN at the same time as seeing a boy named Caleb texting, she thinks he's SN. Jem goes back to Jessie, yells at her, and tells her to leave Liam alone. Every morning, Jessie jokes that SN should come see her at work and then goes downstairs. Dad tries to talk to her, but he can't believe Jessie really thinks that going away because of his fight with Rachel. Caleb comes into work. Caleb doesn't look like he'd be SN, but it's clear that he is. This makes Jessie feel lost. She asks him to meet her for coffee. In the evening, SN seems confused and doesn't seem to remember that he visited her earlier. Ethan tells Jessie's mom how sorry he is during their next study session together. Jessie likes him more and more. Ethan points out that Caleb writes some of the band's songs while they talk about Oville. Jessie wants to know if the Oville boys always talk about her. Jessie tries all night to like Caleb because he's SN, but all she can think about is Ethan. The next day, Jessie tells Dri and Agnes about her crush. Then, as Jem goes into English class, she calls Jessie names and trips her in front of Mrs. Pollock, their teacher. After class, Mrs. Pollock asks Jessie if she did anything to make Jem angry. She also tells her that she can't punish Jem because Jem's dad gives a lot of money to the school. When Liam finds Jessie, she's about to drive to Chicago. He tells her she needs to work. It dawns on Jessie that she can't leave. Still, she texts Scarlett and asks if she can move into the basement. She is very happy, but she says the couch downstairs is dirty because she and Adam have spent a lot of time there. When Dad texts Jessie to talk, she doesn't answer. It's giving day again. Theo and Jessie drive to the Habitat for Humanity site together. When they get out of the car, Jem runs into Jessie. She answers when Theo tells her to leave Jessie alone. Caleb tells Jessie they should have coffee on Thursday, but she tries to talk to him but he ignores her. Later, Ethan tells her that she has to eat because Jem's dad paid for lunch and she can't let Jem enjoy seeing Jessie go hungry. Jessie tells Theo thanks for his help on the way home. It seems like Jem has been mean to him since they were kids. He also tells Jessie a little about his dad. He tells Jessie that Ethan's brother likes heavy shit, which means Ethan might not be a good person to date. It doesn't bother Jessie. Rachel is in her room when they get home, according to Jessie. After Rachel gives Jessie a plane ticket to Chicago for the weekend, she gets mad. Scarlett's parents called to sound worried. Sarah is thrilled and asks if they can have a party and hang out with Adam. Jessie isn't as excited about this, but she agrees. Ethan agrees that they should study Wasteland on Monday instead of Friday. Jessie is too nervous about her date on Thursday to eat. Agnes isn't sure that Caleb is SN, and Dri sees that Jem and Liam aren't sat together at lunch. Caleb calls off their date after school because Liam just broke up with Jem over Jessie. Jessie doesn't understand, especially when SN texts her to wish her luck on her trip. He made her feel bad, and she doesn't want to tell him. While they're flying, Jessie thinks about how interesting it would be to hear what Scarlett thinks about everything. But when she gets there, Scarlett is upset and angry. She says that Jessie hasn't been listening since she left. Things go badly at the party that night. After Scarlett and Adam leave, probably to have sex, Jessie texts SN while she's drunk and tells him he messed up their coffee date. The next morning, she wakes up in Scarlett's bed. They haven't had sex yet because Scarlett is too scared, and Scarlett needs help. All she wants to do is talk about Adam. Scarlett makes it clear that she wants to know about Jessie's life. All she wants is for Jessie to pay attention to her. As proof, she reads through Jessie's new texts. In them, Dri and Agnes confirm that Caleb's sister is still alive and that he is not SN. He looks like Liam to Scarlett. As she leaves, Jessie doesn't know where home is. Theo picks her up at the airport because he wants to know what she thinks about everything. But she doesn't have anything to say. Theo tells Jessie that she shouldn't date Ethan because his brother Xander, the singer from Oville, died of a drug accident. Jessie starts to think that Ethan might be SN as things start to make sense. They're going to get together on Wednesday. Monday, while Jessie and Ethan are studying, Jessie tells Ethan how sorry she is about Xander's death. Liam is going to ask Jessie to go on a date, Ethan says. He tells her to say no when she tells him she doesn't want him to. Theo talks Jessie into making up with her dad on Tuesday morning. Dad stops by to see Jessie at work, and Mrs. Pollock tells her she's sorry for how she handled Jim's teasing. He says he's sorry for being bad and that Jessie's mom would be proud of her. She also texts Adam to say that she and Adam had sex and it was great. Jessie is very happy. Afterward, Rachel tells Jessie that she can organize her room however she wants and says she's sorry for ignoring her. Jessie says they should put up pictures of Theo's dad. SN finally shows up the next day, but Liam, Ethan, and Caleb are already there when Jessie gets there. Jessie doesn't understand what's going on until Ethan pulls out his phone and texts her from SN. Ethan has SN. Liam is mad, but he and Caleb leave anyway. For hours, Jessie and Ethan just sit and talk while holding hands. When Ethan kisses Jessie, she feels like she's at home in LA for the first time.
About the author. Julie Buxbaum, born 1977. He got her bachelor's degree from the University of Pennsylvania and then went to Harvard Law School to get her law degree. She used to work as a lawyer, but she quit so she could write her first book, The Opposite of Love, which came out in 2009. Buxbaum's first two books were for adults, but after the publication of her first young adult book, Tell Me Three Things in 2016, she found she loved writing for kids more. Tell Me Three Things was based on a number of events in Buxbaum's own life. Buxbaum lost her mother when she was 14 years old, just like the main character, Jessie. After the birth of her second child, she thought about how her mother would never get to see her as an adult, which made her want to write the book. At one point in her life, Buxbaum also got a positive text from someone she didn't know, just like Jessie does. Buxbaum lives in London with her husband and children.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.